Iran doesn't have their own resources. They got it from Pakistan.
Yeah.
Pakistan actually was made nuclear reliant by US. Otherwise, they don't have any resources. Trump says, I want to make my country great, US great again. But the kind of policies he's implementing is against USA, and he's raising trade wars and imposing a lot of trade tariffs. It's actually imbalances the entire ecosystem that is already developed and being implemented. America being a superpower, and entire what you call a dollar exchange through SWIFT is actually controlling the entire world.
Hello viewers, I'm Arti Bali from TFI. Today we will be discussing India's soft power diplomacy, which is a potent tool for global influence, leveraging its rich cultural heritage, democratic values, and pluralistic society to forge strong relationships with other countries and to promote its national interests. We have with us Dr. Murthy Devarabhotla, who is a globally recognized leader in business excellence, trade, diplomacy, and strategic consulting. He's currently serving as a global president of the Diplomatic Club. He has been instrumental in advancing international trade relations and cultural diplomacy. So please tell us how the soft power diplomacy has played its role in enhancing India's global image.
Uh, Miss Arti, thank you so much for having me here in your studio today. I'm Dr. Murthy Devarabhotla and Global President of the Diplomatic Club, which promotes trade, commerce, and culture globally, with 46 chapters across globe. Uh, as you asked, Indian diplomacy, the world largest democracy in the world, and implementing track to diplomacy these days, and which is like cultural diplomacy. So we are in the age of cultural diplomacy or public diplomacy, wherein this cultural diplomacy helps India by showing it supports freedom, diversity, and the rule of law, and values that appeal to many countries. And this boosts trust and partnerships. And many countries that boost trust and partnerships, especially with the developing nations. But if India is seen as moving away from these democratic values, like limiting free speech and all that, it can damage its image. So, to keep, to keep its influence across the world, it must practice what it preaches. That is called walk the talk.
Okay. So, what are the sub tools or subsections of soft diplomacy which helps in relations with other countries?
When you are talking about cultural outreach,
Yes.
like HCCR Yoga Days, yes, these efforts have improved India's image and created friendly ties with many countries. They build trust and connecting people. However, for lasting influence, India must follow up with strong trade,
Okay.
education, and political partnerships.
Okay. And what about cinema or you can say Indian diaspora? What role do they play?
Definitely, creative economy plays a major role in connecting people.
Okay.
So, the bonding between two cultures will be lasting forever if people to people connect is really takes place.
Okay. So, in an age of disinformation, what role should India's public diplomacy play in shaping global narratives about India?
India should actively tell its own story,
Okay.
okay, and truthfully and clearly, with clarity. It needs to use social media and culture and the diaspora that are there in the particular nations
Okay.
to explain its values and goals.
Okay.
Then, working with media and experts, global media and experts, can really help fight false stories and also build trust worldwide.
Fine. So, what do you think how India should align its hard power and soft power diplomacy strategies to project itself as a global leader by 2047, as envisioned by our Prime Minister Modi, of making India a developed country by 2047?
Very good question, Ms. Arti. I know we are trying to achieve Viksit Bharat 2047. So we want to see India empowered and developed country by 2047. That is the everybody's aspiration of India becoming a global power. So in line with our Prime Minister's vision 2047, Viksit Bharat 2047, India must work on both build strong defense, mighty
Okay.
defense, military, and trade systems while sharing its democratic values, culture, and tech leadership. By combining these all three things under a clear plan, very strategically,
Okay.
and India can lead by example, offering cooperation, inclusiveness, and growth,
Okay.
not by conflict.
Okay.
This is the not era of wars. We need more and more strategic relationships with every country. So
Okay.
we have Look East policy and neighborhood first policy
Yeah.
and BRICS,
Hmm.
BRIMSTEC,
Brings
okay, and Quad.
quite
We are also being given an important stage on G7 these days.
yeah.
Look at the power of India enjoying and being there because we promote very clean democratic value systems, largest democratic country, and we empower people. We need neighbors to be happy and prosper. We always preach and promote Vasudhaika Kutumbam.
Okay.
World is one.
Yeah.
Jai Hind.
So, what do you think that how can India leverage its diaspora more effectively as a soft power tool, particularly in Europe and Africa, in trade relations or in other to enhance relations?
Right. India speaks up for developing nations and pushes for fair global systems. If you look at G20 that took place in India, we have involved African Union as a G21 and were giving push them for global South. So we wanted African country to be partnered with G20, and we want to see them as leverage the technology and systems in place so that they also come to a common ground leveling field.
So you think that the soft power like diaspora or the other tools of the soft power diplomacy plays a greater role in forging trade ties or other business deals?
When it comes to global South, India is speaking of for developing nations like Africa and other Latin American countries, more are in Caribbean and Commonwealth,
Okay.
and we are pushing for fairer global systems like UN and the IMF as a global forums. We also combating and actually fighting for their rights.
Okay.
So we are we are helping them to come to that stage to right to live policy.
Okay.
So by working on shared goals like digital tools and development, it promotes the idea that the global south should help lead and not just follow.
Okay. So you mean that soft power diplomacy is a very essential tool in foreign policy as well as you can say diminishing the conflicts between the countries?
Of course, yes. This improving the one's soft image of the country would also help others align with your vision and achieve prosperity and peace. So that all the economies and index of human index will also gets developed. That is very important. Soft power, being a soft power, it is very important.
So what do you think about the cultural relations between the countries as per your large experience, huge experience? What do you think which country has a very good cultural ties with India and how cultural activities or the ties help in reducing the conflicts?
In fact, we have been working with many other countries. Look at Asia. Asia, we have Thailand, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka, Nepal. All these countries were part of uh, that Akhand Bharat.
Akhand Bharat.
Akhand Bharat. We shared same space, same land, same vision that time. But those were designated and formed different countries. But otherwise, we share good values and good friendship with them, and we help each other. Though a lot of diversity in terms of culture, in languages, their food habits and lifestyles, but we see neighborhood as one.
So, as per you, which cultural ties, which countries share the good cultural ties between India, like Iran or the just neighboring countries of India, which is the more closest in terms of culture?
Nepal being our closest ally, Sri Lanka, though there will be little issues sometimes when there is a political regime changes, still they are with us. We are always supportive and cooperative with them, and they are part of our development plans. We support with them with a lot of line of credits, grants, and human aid. And whenever there is a earthquakes or any calamities happens, we'll be the first to
First.
be there and help them.
So, sir, I just wanted to ask one last question, that you have been very instrumental in advancing international trade relations. How do you see China in that very picture?
Yeah, no doubt China has got very um, important role to play in the world politics in geopolitical scenario, because the economy has really advanced. Their public are really hardworking, and they have a vision for next 100 years. They build systems, and they are proven and time tested, and they built economy from scratch to a developed nation, and very robust. We can't ignore their economy and their strategic type in India.
Yeah.
There will be some conflicts, but those will be resolved through dialogue,
That.
through foreign policy, by diplomatic ways.
A diplomatic.
We have to explore only diplomatic ways. War or conflicts never give you a peace in the region.
So, as you said just now, what do you think that what should India do to enhance their, technological so there will be technological advancement? What steps should be taken so that India should achieve that point of a developed nation with a good economy, with good technological advancement?
See, if you see the world, India manufacturing industry is facing semiconductor chips
Yeah.
shortage, because Taiwan is the largest producer of semiconductor chips. It is being dominated by China, and America with the companies like Nvidia and few other companies wanted to emerge as a semiconductors. You know what you call supremacy.
Super.
Then India is actually getting into that space now, and we want to be self-reliant in defense. We want to be self-reliant in space. We are already achieved many great milestones in space. We are also sharing that technology with other countries,
Yeah.
because we wanted to share our digital infra to many other countries to foster stronger relationships. If you look at the bombers of America,
Yes.
only four countries have that kind of bombers. So we want to acquire that kind of bombers
Technology.
just to protect our country.
for self-defense. No.
We never invade or raise wars. Okay, and we want to build strong digital and financial systems in place because we are a country of 1.4 billion, 140 crores plus populous country, largest populous country. We want to feed them 3 times a day, so we need to have a energy security, food security.
Yeah.
So we need to improve the per capita income, and thus we can improve GDP of the country. We have to have a mighty military, defense strategies for next 40 years. So it will make comprehensively, it will make India a superpower.
So, what do you think about the Trump's policies being of tariffs? Now the new economic buster bomb bill for India, so against India and China. So, what do you think that if Trump is thinking of, I want a Greenland, he's saying that he wants to annex that Greenland just because of he wants rare minerals. What how we are going to enhance our economy and our dependency of any chip, like these things, dependency on other nations. How are we going to reduce that dependency?
The current
economically?
political regime or administration in United States, actually they are looking at, they want to make their own country great again. And they want, Trump says, I want to make my country great, US great again. But the kind of policies he's implementing is against USA. And he's raising trade wars and imposing a lot of trade tariffs. It's actually imbalances the entire ecosystem that is already developed and being implemented. But I'm sure they would likely to change their policies to adopt more and more national friendly, international friendly policies to make it more bilateral, multilateral trade benefits. Thing is, every country wants their self-interests, and but America being a superpower and entire what you call a dollar exchange through SWIFT is actually controlling the entire world. So some countries are coming up with their own currency, doing trade in their own currency. So it would definitely lower the domination of US currency. And we are living in an age of multipolar, not bipolar. So Russia on one hand and America on the other hand. Either you have to be there in the NATO, otherwise non-NATO resmi. So we are adapting, being India, my India is adapting non-alignment policy. We don't align with anybody. And India first is the nation first is our policy.
So, because you are giving me good answers. So, one thing more, that Iran, when sanctions were imposed on Iran, slowly it became self-reliant and started producing their own things rather than being dependent on others because they were sanctioned. Now, because of tariffs and all that, protectionist policies that have been introduced by levying high amount of tariffs or duties on goods by US. So what do you think that earlier, after World War II, there was a globalization and there were interdependence of the nations, and now the back to square one, that you are a protectionist and now no nation need another for their own goods. Don't you think that it will, what do you think, that it will make world more secure or insecure?
Yeah, definitely it will make world insecure because looking at the wars that are happening around the world. Okay, and for example, this nuclear program being implemented by Iran. Iran doesn't have their own resources. They got it from Pakistan.
Yeah.
Pakistan actually was made nuclear reliant by US. Otherwise, they don't have any resources. So it's all dependent on what you call different different groups,
Alliances,
alliances.
yeah.
These are being created by their own interests. It would definitely destabilize the whole world. And tariffs, when it comes to tariffs, there is a WTO, World Trade Organization. What is World WTO organization doing? Because America is actually withdraws
Withdraw.
from WTO.
WTO.
America withdrew from WHO and Paris Agreement. We don't consider America as a Vishwaguru or superpower now.
So, what do you think? What will be the global order if the US has withdrawn from WTO and now the UN, despite UNSC and IAEA, he has bombed Iran, and moreover, the NPT now look now to be in tatters. If if the parliament is also discussing, Iranian parliament is discussing about IAEA, whether NPT, whether to be a signatory, despite a signatory, it was unable to protect. So, what do you think if the international treatments are nullified like that and sovereignty of the nations is being attacked? So, how do you think the world is going through?
In fact, you are asking for reforms in UN since we are
Yeah.
demanding reforms in UN since long time. Okay, only veto power as only five countries has got veto powers. They are actually ruling the entire world and in UNSC. But thing is, we want more and more countries to be there in UNSC to retain its sanctity. Otherwise, there is no point in having a UNSC and everybody is waging wars on others, and nobody is respecting their sovereignty. And sovereignty is nothing but it's people's right to live.
Yeah.
And this is the high time to bring reforms to UN, and everybody uphold the sanctity of UNSC. Then only we can make our earth better and peaceful.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy. It was a pleasure speaking with you and discussing India's soft power diplomacy and its potential to enhance countries' global influence and also achieving Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of making India a developed nation by 2047. Thank you.
Thank you.